Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to Lifepreneur Podcast with the one and only Reality Check, a.k.a. Rob Clark. I'm with my co-host, the one and only DJ motherfucking Supra.
Talk to me. What's going on? DJ Supra here. I got my big bro, Rob Clark. We're here doing Lifepreneur, the podcast, baby. This is going to be the #1 podcast. Make sure to check us out. Like it, subscribe it, get to know us. We're some cool-ass people, right, Rob?
Yeah. Yo, it's going to be good. Yo, we have some awesome topics for you, some controversial topics. Let's go from the top. Let's talk about how COVID is just, fucking up this world.
Wait, Rob, are they ready for that? Like, yo, this is a sensitive topic. I don't know if we could do this live. People get too touchy when it comes to COVID.
Yeah, no, I don't give a fuck about people's feelings or emotions. We just got to, just go with the flow. You know what I mean?
I mean, if we're gonna get touchy, I want to ask you a quick question.
All right.
I read, and I got some sources. They're saying Pfizer's trying to make a third COVID dose for kids under 5. For kids under 5, bro.
Well, you have to understand, Pfizer is a pharmaceutical company for profit. How much profit do they make? Billions and billions and billions of fucking dollars, right? I mean, I just did a little market research that on every child that is convinced that they are transgender and they should be another gender, the pharmaceutical industry profits $1.3 million.
Is that on shots, like hormones and things?
Yeah, the whole thing, everything combined. Big pharma makes $1.3 million, and every child that they get to get the hormone stuff like that, and they're trying to excommunicate the parents and everything else out of that stuff, right?
Bro, I'm not a parent at all. But I don't know. This is tough for me because I'm thinking when are we going to be done with these shots? Now they're bringing out a third one for kids? Come on. Weren't they saying kids don't really get affected too much or too heavily with this whole COVID thing, or am I incorrect?
That doesn't matter, in all honesty. They don't give a shit about that at all. It's not about what is in the best benefit of people's health-wise at all. It's what is in the best benefit of whoever bought the government. And it looks like Pfizer pretty much bought at least the current administration. You know what I mean? Wow. And so I don't know if you know this, but Pfizer, when they rolled out the first vaccines and everything else, and they started mandating everyone to take them, Pfizer sent a bill to the federal government for $2.4 trillion because the government was paying for everyone to have the COVID shots, and then everyone just needs to go ahead and get the second one and the third one. Who knows how many invoices the taxpayers are paying to Pfizer under the table? But it's a lot easier to sell one person in the U.S. government something than it is to sell 330 million people it.
That's ridiculous. Would you say Pfizer's pimping us out? Are we being pimped by Pfizer right now?
I would say that it's not even on a micro level, not even the state or the country. I say it's on a macro level, the world, right? They're doing this on a global level, right? Yeah. I mean, they even had Johnson & Johnson. They even dropped their vaccine because it was having too many side effects, right? Yeah. That's not on the TV. They don't tell you that shit at all, I mean, do you know how long it took for the for the FDA to approve the flu shot, the flu vaccine?
No, it was quick though, right?
12 fucking years.
12 years?
Took 12 years to approve the flu vaccine, who was killing hundreds of thousands of people before the vaccine even came out.
I mean, it's just 12 years though. Come on.
Okay. But in terms of getting the the FDA to approve the COVID vaccine took 120 days.
Well, if we're talking about quickies now.
Yeah, and then also, Pfizer doesn't even want to release what's actually in the vaccine for 75 years.
Yeah, I'm on my 5th booster shot, by the way.
Yeah, I think Mundo, how many shots you got? 13?
3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3 booster shots on top of the 2 existing shots, whatever. And to be honest with you, I don't really give a shit either way. Either if you're vaccinated or not, I don't give a shit. Yeah. Right? The only thing that I give a shit is that you're doing what's best for your own circumstances and your own health. You're not pushing some guy that has 80-year-old with heart diseases, symptoms, onto me, a guy who's 30 and healthy.
So that's all facts. But bro, talk to me. Tell me how you felt that first time when you jumped in your Uber or you got on a flight. You didn't have to wear a face mask.
Oh, dude. So I actually avoided flying because I was sick of like falling asleep on the plane and my mask would fall below my nose and the stewardess in first class would come fucking wake me up and say, "Sir, you got to put it over your nose." You know what I mean? And they had like these attitudes and shit like that. Like they run the show. But I know if you fly private, like exclusive private or whatever, that nobody was mandating masks at all while you were flying private. But first class or coach at all in the regular big airlines, they were mandating everything.
That's crazy, right? Because if you think about it, I was talking about the shots earlier, right? They're trying to give shots to our kids under 5. Like, they're just looking for anything to work their way around our lifestyle. So, like, I was thinking the other day, I was like, wow, I remember the first time I got into an Uber, and I thought, like, I put on my face mask, and the guy was like, "Oh, you don't have to anymore," because he didn't want to wear a face mask. I was in shock. I was like, "Wait," and that was just like a month ago. He was like, "Yeah, you don't got to wear your face mask anymore." And then, contrary to that, like a week later, I remember getting into the Uber, and I had a full blown argument with my Uber driver because she was saying, "No, you got to put on your face mask. It's mandatory and everything." And I was just like, it's getting ridiculous how much COVID is controlling our lives, like in every aspect, from like getting all these shots, our Uber rides, the airlines, and then like I was reading something the other day. It's just like it really is affecting our everyday to day life in so many different ways, and people don't get it from the Uber rides. I just saw that like a bunch of pools are getting closed down because they don't even have the people to let you into pools. Like all your entertainment, all your leisure. Like when are things gonna get it to normal? It's getting crazy.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I understand. Yeah, so when I first started Lifepreneur was in 2019, right? And I had already made like 10 different online courses. I had already done over 200 ebooks for people. And I wanted to give away this education for free to people, like credit stuff, finance stuff, things that you should know and they should teach you in high school or college, but they don't. Stuff that's actually benefited my life and put me where I am today, right? And I was going to have a big-ass event, a free event, and everything else. I had like 500 people RSVP'd, and it was going to be an awesome one-day event. I lined up some speakers, and, I paid some guys to come out there and do some stuff. And 2 weeks before my event, the event convention center in Sandy, Utah told me, we canceled everything. Right?
God damn.
And
wow.
so, I mean, from that point on, they're like, "Oh, it's only short term." You ever say that? It's only, just compromise and wear a mask for 30 days so that, we can beat this and we can go back to normal, right? And then they would say, then they blame it on everybody else who wasn't wearing masks.
God.
We got to do it now for 3 years, for 2 years and everything else, And then, you see the dollar get dropped down to nothing. Inflation's the biggest it's ever been in 50 years. Gas prices the highest it's been in forever. A gallon of milk is almost $7 a gallon, right? And just like 2 years ago, it was $1.99.
Bro, our whole life is being changed right now. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's why I don't drink milk, oat milk. That's all I do.
That's even more expensive now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oat milk. Yeah, almond milk, regular milk, it don't matter. Eggs, everything's expensive. That's the only thing that really frustrates me with the current administration, the current Democratic administration, in all honesty, is because they fight. They say they're for the poor. They say that they're for minorities, and they want to do all these things and ever for you. But then they get what they wanted, and these minorities and the poor put them in office. And they took the lowest gas prices to the highest gas prices. Who does that affect the most?
The people.
Yeah, the poor. Yeah. It affects the poor and the minorities who are coming into the country for the first time ever as well, right?
Yep.
When you look at a gallon of milk, right, who does that affect the most, the rich or the poor? Of course it affects the poor, Income tax, increasing income tax right, on people's income, W-2 employees, right, taking it from, what was it, 22% back to 35%, right? The rich don't get paid in their own name, so they don't collect any income, right? So who does that affect the most? That affects everybody who's a W-2 employee. It doesn't affect anybody who's an entrepreneur or whatnot. You know what I mean? No. If I owe $300,000 in federal taxes, I'm buying a RAV4, or I'm buying a car that's over 6,000 pounds, and working on that stuff, and then roll it right over. You know, I buy assets with that stuff, and then I get to write off the whole thing. You know, like Grant Cardone, he had like $35,000 in tax liability, and he ended up buying a G6.
Wow. A G6?
Yeah, an airplane. And then it ended up taking his tax liability down to zero, right? And then it also covered his tax for the next following year as well.
So, real quick, bro. Since we're having all this and people are controlling, like, basically we're seeing the government control a lot of things. We're seeing a few people that understand how to manipulate this era, or this new timing that we have. You have your program, Lifepreneur, and you're like one of my favorite people that has taught me a lot. What would you say right now is a good opportunity for people to get into? Because in times of turmoil, there's always new opportunity. Right now, in this moment that we have, what are some good opportunities that we're looking through with COVID?
Honestly, the best opportunity for Zennials and Millennials is also going to be e-com. Right? All kinds of different e-com opportunities, right? I actually have an opportunity for $50,000 that you can actually partner with me as an online opportunity. And you got to have a few $100,000 behind you. But I'll have my whole team run all your offers and everything else. And we're 50-50 partners. And we're probably looking at splitting anywhere between $1 to $3 million after 12 months.
See? It's not all bad. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, you know, I wanted to ask you that because I know there's a lot of people stressing out. I mean, if we're talking about our current situation with COVID, people are stressed out. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for shit to do. We're looking at inflation, maybe recession. People don't know. So, like, I know that you're super creative in finding ways to make shit work for the day-to-day person, the normal guy. So that's crazy. Tell me more about e-com.
So I mean, there's also massive real estate opportunities out here in Puerto Rico as well that I've been like discovering over the last like just 30 days. Yeah. You know, and you know a lot of the states inside the United States have experienced about 5 or to 7 years of climbing property value, right? And Puerto Rico, outside of San Juan, hasn't really felt that. You know, and there's tons and tons of properties out here that are absolutely decimated by Hurricane Maria in 2017, and they're still decimated. Like, literally, we can go on one side of the road, and there's, like, a Walmart there, a club there, a restaurant there, everything else. And literally on the other side of the road, there's, like, 20-unit apartment complexes, 12-unit apartment complexes that are completely just shelled out. Nothing there but a shell of the concrete, and it's just sitting there just vacant, nothing, right? And so there's also massive real estate opportunities as well. To get out here. A buddy of mine just bought a property out here 3 months ago from a foreclosure for $25,000, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a nice backyard. He put $90,000 into it, and he flipped it. So all in, he's $115 into it. Here right now, he's selling it for $195.
That's a nice profit.
And that was a 10-week process from buying it, restorating it, and putting it back on the market. 10 weeks. You know. So there's super opportunity all around. I'm obsessed with ripping apart opportunity. A lot of guys, you ever hear that phrase, too good to be true?
Yeah.
Right? I literally rip apart all the too good to be true opportunities because I know 1 out of 1,000 of them is actually legit. And that's probably one of the ways that I've made a ton of freaking money is I always like to hedge risk and find ways to exploit opportunity. Like, I used to love to take advantage of MLMs that had, weird compensation plans, and I would like be able to exploit their compensation plans. There's ways to make money all over the place. That's why I talk about the 6 pillars of leverage, and the number 1 pillar is resourcefulness. I didn't say intelligence or wisdom. I said resourceful. You have a guy with a doctorate degree that will literally fucking make every excuse in the world on why he can't or shouldn't or just, doesn't find the time to do something. And then you'll have an immigrant from Venezuela or Mexico or whatever, for example, that can't even speak fucking English.
I'll figure it out.
And they will make millions of dollars a year within 2 to 3 years of living in this country. And the only difference is one's resourceful and one's not. It doesn't matter that you can speak the language or not, right? Yeah. Can you get one focuses on value and one focuses on hourly wages, right? And that's why I hate traditional education because, they're just masters at getting people to become time sellers. And corporate America is masters at buying your time for pennies on the fucking dollar. It's retarded.
So look, check this out, bro. I'm walking into your office right now. I'm a hot, young stud. I'm just saying. Listen, just check it out. I'm 20 years old. I'm a hot, young stud. I'm walking into your office, and I walk in, and I'm like, yo, Rob, how the fuck do I make money right now? In this time, I'm young, I'm eager, I got stamina. Talk to me. What can I hustle to make some money in today's day?
Sales, baby, sales. I will always go back to sales, right? So when I was in the military, I didn't realize this, but I was a master communicator in the military, right? And I got this in New York. When you grow up in the ghetto in New York and everything else, you got gangs all over the place. You have to know how to communicate with many different verses, many different religions, and many different ethnicities and backgrounds and different stuff. You got to be able to talk your way out of something, with a cop with a bad attitude, right? Trying to park some stuff. And then a block later, you got Latin Kings. A block later, you got Bloods, Crips, Gang 31s, or whatever, right? You got to be able to communicate with all very vast amounts of people. And so when I was in the military, I went from E1 to E6 in like 3.5 years. And what I learned is I can talk to officers, I can talk to enlisted guys, I can talk to Navy, Marine. It didn't matter, right? I knew how to communicate with them in a way which would give me leverage or value by having them in my relationship corner, right? And so when I applied that outside the military, I went and got my degree in college. And, bro, like when it came to the accounting classes or the math classes, like I didn't even try, and I just like 4.0 those classes, right? Damn. When it came to like the marketing classes, writing the essays and stuff, I knew I sucked at that, but I knew that it was boring for me to do. So what I did is I partnered with this girl. What was her name? Cindy or whatever her name was.
Shout out to Cindy.
Yeah, something like that, whatever, right? So she was great at the marketing classes and sucked at the accounting classes. And I was great at the accounting classes, but I sucked at the marketing classes, right? I could do the proposal, no problem, but I wasn't going to write the thesis.
So what happened with you and Cindy?
Nothing. She did my homework on the marketing. I did her homework on the accounting.
That's all she did?
That's all we did. I mean, there was the occasional 1-2 random, board thing or whatever we hooked up or whatever, but that was, I mean, that's kind of like natural with an alpha, you know what I mean? Like,
So I just want, I know I don't understand. I want everybody else to understand, and also so they can get an idea. Explain to me what it is going from an E1 to an E6 and how hard that actually is.
So in the Navy, there's ranks. The Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard. There's officer ranks and the list of the ranks. I won't go too far into it, but E1 to E9 is like the ranks for enlisted, and then O1 to O9 is for officers. Okay, and so in E6 in the Navy is a first class petty officer. I'll give you an example. My little brother has been in the Navy now for 16 years. He's an E7.
God damn.
He's a chief petty officer.
Pay attention to that.
Right? And so I made E6 in 3.5 years, but I was command advanced twice at the same command, right? Shout outs to Admiral Golf, who command advanced me when he was a captain, and then when he got selected as admiral, command advanced me again. It was beautiful. But again, I was a master politician. I knew how to make people that had a say over my pay or my freedom or my eval. They all owed me 2 or 3 favors.
Wow.
I had this one petty officer, Petty Officer Smith, bro, E5, okay? And when I first got on the ship, I was an E1, and this guy was an E5. Then when I was an E6, he was still an E5,
oh
right?
My God.
And so this dude hated my guts because he was like one of those middleman guys that never wanted to do anything, wanted to do the least amount as possible with the most amount of authority, with the least amount of responsibility. Yeah. And the Navy, they hate those guys, right? They're in there. They're called lifers, right? The guys they do the bare minimum. They hit their quals to be able to do 20 years or whatever, get a retirement and get out. They don't want. They give the least amount of value possible to the military. And so I loved the responsibility. I loved it. I loved the training. I got my Eastwise pin when I was at E3, which you don't have to do till you're E5. And I actually got to where Captain Golf told me there's no more qualification on the ship that I can get as an enlisted man. Go to college. That's what he told me. But that's why I was command advance. I also knew politically how to put my name in every award possible that I could possibly do, so that when the admirals and the officers and the captains would go through and look at those awards, they would see all these people in their resumes, but I made sure that Captain Goff and my executive officer and everyone, they knew who I was.
Nice.
Right? And so it's easier to get selected for an award when they don't know everybody, but they know you. It's just a political game, And then that's how sales are. So when I got out of the military, I went to college. I got my bachelor's degree, and the first thing I did was get into sales. And sales is something that's not going to be replaced by technology. It's not. If you're a great communicator verbally, not even written, but verbally, right, you can make millions of dollars.
So what are some things right now that you think are hot for sales? Like I told you, I'm 20, I'm young, I got the stamina. Like, what in sales exactly could I be looking at? Remember, I'm 20, I'm young. Like, get me started. Like, warm me up.
Sell opportunities, bro. Sell opportunities. Like, the one thing that I love is that a millionaire will take advantage of opportunities. A billionaire will create opportunities, right? There's a set of rules that I always look for in everything that I'm doing, right? I'm always looking to create proof of concepts and opportunities for people to make cash flow, make their life easier, and make things simpler for them, and so that I can also make them money, right? A millionaire knows how to make a lot of money, right? And he's really good at making a lot of money. But a billionaire knows how to make a lot of people a lot of money. That's the difference. And that's what I strive to be when I do it. So if you're interested in sales and everything else, I would always say look to sell opportunities to people that they normally wouldn't be able to hedge the risk of those opportunities without the person that they're with, right? Like, I've been in online advertising since I was, since 2015, so 7 years, right? So somebody coming in with $300,000 that wants to be an online advertiser, they're going to get taken advantage of by the affiliate marketers, or by the different offers or campaigns or traffic. They don't know about chargeback percentages, merchant account, overloading and balance loading. They don't know any of that stuff, right? They also don't know what product is good, what product's good for straight sale, what product's good with a continuity plan, like a VIP membership or a monthly subscription program, right? And so there's lots of different things that they don't know that are beneficial for them. So partnering with me, when I already have the infrastructure in place, I have the merchant processing in place, I have the alerts in place, I have the campaign managers in place, I have the affiliate traffic guys that I know that do good traffic, I already have it in place. For me, it's plug and play into my system. So I created a $50,000 opportunity to partner with me on a profit share. So basically, I'm going to start a company for you, and then I'm going to profit share 50% of the profit with your company, right? And then I'm going to build the infrastructure out for your company completely and have my campaign managers run everything. Even my accountant will run everything for you as well. And at the end of the day, on average, we can turn a $300,000 investment that we can roll over and over again, like 3 or 4 times a month, into about a $12 to $15 million gross revenue business at about a 10 to 12% profit margin, which is about $1.8 million that we're splitting at the end of it, right? And I also have a money back guarantee within 2 years. So if I don't at least get you to break even on your $50,000 in 2 years, I refund your money.
So it's like Khaled said, all I do is win, right?
It's
a win-win situation.
That's it. I mean, I've failed so many times that I know how to win, right? There's a lot of dudes that will tell you all these fucking bullshit about I'm a guru for here. I'm a guru because I know how to I knew all the stuff that I did wrong, right? Because I had tried everything.
Yeah.
I had failed. And you asked my dad. Right, I can't tell you how many times that I asked my dad, "Hey, can I get $700 to help me cover the rest of rent and everything else?" That's why I spoiled my dad. That's why he's taking care of it. I bought him a brand new truck, paid off his mortgage, line them all up. I bought him a $7,000 pair of golf clubs now for his birthday because he loves golfing. He can go to any golf retreat he wants to in Vegas, whatever he wants to do. He wants to move to Florida. I'm going to be looking at buying him a house in Florida. Like, my dad was the only guy that was like my last resort, get out of jail free card, because he knew that I would risk everything on the line to figure it out. Because the one thing you have to know about entrepreneurship, bro, you only have to figure it out once, right? But there's a lot of guys that they actually got, right time, right team, right place, and then they try to sell you a bunch of bullshit. Like, I can't tell you how many fake gurus there are in this world that they sell a whole bunch of fucking garbage. It's bullshit.
You know what I love about that? And maybe some people didn't catch on to that, but for me, more of what you told me, the moral of the story is consistency and just keep on working. If you're looking to be an entrepreneur, like I said, I'm 20, I'm young, I'm looking to do something. You're telling me that I need to continue and not let my hardships knock me down. If I fuck up 100 times, I can still get back up, right?
Dude, I fucked up thousands of times.
Nice.
Right? So I'll give you a little story. Thomas Edison, right? He tried over 1,000 times to create the incandescent light bulb, right? On 1,001, or I think it's like 1,007, he actually got it, right? Where cotton was like the good thing to create the incandescent light bulb. A really cute radio host girl who was trying to get into acting and stuff like that, she interviewed Thomas Edison and said, hey, how could you have failed 1,000 times and kept trying? Like, who does that? And he looks at her and he laughs and kind of like grins, right? And says, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I learned 1,000 ways how not to make a light bulb. And that's how I know that a lot of opportunities that I have lined up for people, that I can plug and play them with everything else, because I learned 1,000 ways how not to do online advertising. I learned 1,000 ways how not to do sales.
Without breaking any ankles, right?
Right. No, a couple knees here and there or whatever, you know what I mean?
So real quick, bro, tell me, how do you feel about traditional jobs versus non-traditional? Like traditional accounting, law, versus like the non-traditional now, which is mostly tech and entertainment and all that kind of stuff. Like, I remember I saw right now, and I mean, people talk about this all the time. It's like the government is telling us, and I don't want to get on a government route or anything, but you could hear this anywhere. They're telling us right now that they're adding all these roles, all these positions, but nobody wants these goddamn jobs. So, like, tell me what you think about, like, traditional versus non-traditional right now.
I mean, in all honesty, I would say fuck traditional and go with, where the market is going, right? There's a book by Jay Abraham called The CEO That Can See Around Corners, right? Read that book, and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about when I say go where the money is going.
Nice.
And the reason why I tell you to go where the money is going is because I want you to get the freedom status as fast as humanly possible. The traditional bias of making money, if you will, is I go to school, go to college, I get a good job, I immediately get married, I get all these bills and get all this debt, I get all this mortgage, right? And then I'm a slave to this modern job, forever, and then I retire with a little something, but no legacy to give my kids, right? I want you to make as much money as fast as possible while living as frugal as possible so that you can own your own time as fast as possible. Get the living free status, number one. Number one is where you're making enough money residually off what you're doing that covers your bills, and you no longer need to sell your fucking time to doing a job you hate. 90% of people in the country, in the United States, are doing something that they would not be doing for free. They would not be doing something that they're passionate about at all. I got lucky. In sales, I was really fucking good at it, and I liked it. I loved it. I still would do it, right? And my worst-case scenario is if I lost everything and had to go back down to zero, I would honestly go get a tech sales job, selling some CRM software, B2B or something like that, right? Make $500,000 with $1 million year bonus, and then year one, bounce and get back into doing my own thing, right? That's my worst-case scenario because my high-end skill is sales. My other high-end skill is leadership. I know how to hire people who are smarter than me to do shit that I don't like to do or that I have no interest in learning how to do. I have no idea how to build a website, but I can get 1,000 of them built.
Nice.
I have no idea how to do video editing or graphic design or any of that shit at all. But that's why I have Mundo. Right, Mundo?
Mundo's in the cut. Mundo does a lot for us.
Right? I didn't buy, I mean, I bought all this videography equipment and everything else for the podcast, but I didn't set it up. Right? I have people who are smarter than me, and I make sure that they're taken care of to a level where they feel stupid to leave to go somewhere else. Right? I believe in pricing out my key people. Right?
What do you tell me, bro? You always tell me, what is it about $15?
If you can get the job done by somebody paying them $15 an hour, you're stupid doing it.
So I think at some point we should all strive for that. At some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, bro, there's millions and millions and millions of people who will work for $15 an hour or less. So if it's not putting thousands of dollars in your pocket, right? Don't do it.
And you know what's funny? Not only that, but did I talk to you about robots? You like robots, right?
Yeah, I like robots. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the Elon Musk thing?
Yeah. You know we're actually getting into that time period when our life is turning into a movie. First we got the pandemic. That shit is a fucking movie, bro. I wake up half the time and I'm like, are we in a movie? Is this like, it's like half thriller, half horror, and then sometimes it just turns out to be a comedy. It's like we're going through the pandemic. Now we're in the middle of the movie, and now they're telling me that there's fucking robots. Fucking
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. He's making goddamn robots, bro. And you know what's funny? Everything you were talking about, like
all the
boring
monotonous
stuff,
all the monotonous tasks.
I think Elon Musk is saying the same thing as you.
Absolutely, he wants everybody to put themselves in a position to where, you know, you can buy his products affordable. I think he's selling the robots for like 10, 20 grand or whatever, right?
Bro, literally the robot is gonna look like Mundo.
Oh, ugly and 5'5"?
Bro, they said the robot's gonna be 5'8", 125 pounds, and can deadlift 150, and he can run 5 miles an hour. That sounds like Mundo.
That kind of sounds like your running speed. I know Mundo runs like 10 miles a day.
Actually, you're right about that.
Yeah.
How fast can you run a mile?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm fat as fuck right now. Shit.
We're selling Fit Fat very soon too.
Yeah. No. Fit Fat, baby. That's the brand. Go out and buy it. Fit Fat. Lifeandorder.com. Go check it out.
No, but robots. So this robot's gonna do all the shit we don't want to do.
Yeah, the robots, it looks like it's going to be able to mow your lawn, sweep your floors, mop your floors, do your dishes, do your laundry, right? All the monotonous, redundant 5 to 10 hours a week tasks that majority of modern women don't want to do anyway now.
So, question is, would you get this robot?
I'm not going to be the first one to get this robot, but I definitely would get the robot.
You like this idea of the robot?
Dude, I love the idea of not paying employees if I don't need them. You know, I have technology that, you know, that I would need hundreds of employees if I didn't have technology. Right?
What if you walk into the room and this robot's giving your woman a massage?
Why only 1 minute? That's my question. Is why only 1 minute?
1 minute?
Yeah, 1 minute. What kind of massage is 1 minute?
So you're fine with the robot just massaging your woman up and down, right?
Up and down what? What are we talking about here? Talking about regular massage?
Yeah, just
talking about happy ending or
like
massage?
Like a Chinese, like deep tissue. You just walk into the room, and the robot's right there, just like this is AI.
No, I mean, like, obviously you'll need to know that my AI is not ready for massage if I don't want a massage. You know what I mean?
We're getting into a really weird time for everything. Like, we're talking about goddamn robots right now. But what about relationships? Like,
oh, don't get me started on relationship, bro. Don't get me started on those. Yo.
Like,
no.
that's what I'm saying. I'm getting to the point, like, during the pandemic, relationships are getting so weird. Like, people are getting jealous. Like, I mean, it looks like you're pretty secure, though. You don't even care if a robot's, like, giving your girl a deep tissue breakdown.
Why would I give two shits about that?
Bro, this robot is 5'8", 125 pounds, and looks like Mundo.
Yeah, I understand.
That's a problem.
No insecurity about me at all. Mundo might be jealous with all the cougars chasing Mundo. You know what I mean? Mundo likes, if you have menopause, Mundo will, give Mundo your number.
Yeah. No, but like relationships, man. Like that's where I'm going at right now. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think about relationships? Like we're talking about everything today. We're talking about what people don't want to talk about, what people do want to talk about. Like relationships are getting goddamn hard, man.
Yo, I'll tell you this, most women in the United States think people outside the United States are crazy, like women, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the women outside the United States think women in the United States are spoiled, rotten, lazy, trying to compete with men is crazy or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really into the whole modern, thing myself personally. I mean, I understand if she wants to like do her thing and have passion and be ambitious about something or whatever, right? Like that's cool, but I'm not looking for a woman that's also trying to build a kingdom while I'm building a kingdom. We'll never see each other. Like, what's for me? Like, what's the point, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
And so it's like if I'm trying to build a kingdom, I need a person. We can't both be the drivers of the vehicle. One person has to be the passenger, and that's not going to be me.
That's just logic,
right? And so, like, I mean, for me personally, a lot of women they want to, build their own kingdom and everything else. And if you want to do that, more power fucking to you. Just don't get in my DMs.
uh-huh.
And don't be wasting my time because I mean, one thing with me that I've learned the hard way is that you need to be 100% blunt and honest with these women right away. Boom. No, I like a more old school woman, right?
You've always been that way since I've known you. It's either you love him or you hate him.
That's right.
But you'll always know him.
You always respect me too.
Yeah.
You always respect me for telling you the truth. And then typically later on down the road, you'll come back to me like, bro, what you told me pissed me off. I was mad for like 6 months, but then realized this one thing happened, and man, you were right.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, and you only wasted 8 months of your life.
We have some funny stories of some of our friends. Like I'm not gonna say any of these stories because I don't want to put it on
You
live.
want to say one?
No, I'm gonna say one. There's one that was so funny. So we have a friend. I'm not gonna use any names because I'm gonna be nice. But this is just a situation. So this guy goes on a date with the girl, right? And this is in our area, and we live in a pretty expensive area. It's not super expensive, but we got nice things around us. So this guy's having a full-blown meal with this girl, and we're in the era where women are always saying like we need to be treated this way, that way, which they should. So this guy, he's like, all right, we're in this era. I want to give this girl validity, and I want her to feel some type of way. Let's split the bill. So they split the bill, and everybody was happy. So then he gets a text from the girl, and she said, I didn't drink any wine, and you had a glass of wine that was $36. And she started flipping on him, saying that she could split the food and everything, but that she thought it was absurd that she had to split the $36 cup of wine.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the majority of females in general are pretty petty when it comes to money.
Bro,
right?
Relationships.
But, I mean, like, and then at the end of the day, okay, if you can't afford to take the girl out to dinner and pay for the meal, then don't fucking ask her out to dinner, okay? That's the first thing, okay? Number one. Number two, whatever her fucking intentions are, to sleep with you, not sleep with you, on a date with you, whatever, pay the fucking bill, bro.
Right?
If you can't afford to pay the bill, don't take her out to fucking dinner. Don't even waste your time. Don't ask her out, right? That's the old school in me. But a lot of women, in contrary, they want all the benefits of an old school man without any of the benefits of an old school woman. And so, I mean, I hate to say it though, but a lot of women, they want the fame of a movie star, but the accountability of a fucking child. And
Bro.
so, I was telling, hey, if you want to build your kingdom and want to compete with me, we can go.
Yeah.
But in the world of business, you're gonna dance with me the way I dance with every other person I dance with, right?
And the crazy thing is, she took about a day or two to send him that text. So you could tell she was like, should I bother him about it? Should I not bother him about it?
Oh, no, it was roasting in her brain repeatedly. Like, how dare he not be an old school gentleman and not pay the tab or whatever, and he's not going to get a piece of me and whatever. Like I said, though, I mean, I can understand where she's coming from, right? Because I'm an old school guy, right? Have you ever seen me not pay the bill?
No.
Have
Well,
you ever?
there was that one time you ran away.
I came back. Fool. I came back. That was New Year's. Why are you bringing up New Year's right now?
It was just like a $10,000 bill.
Yeah,
Nothing.
New Year's was fun, but I had to go. I had to go make some appearances. Remember what Tommy looked like, bro? He's like, Rob, are you coming back? They're asking me for my credit card. I'm like, bro.
They're like, how many zeros are next to that one? No.
I don't even know. They gave us the table for free and everything else. So we just had a blast. That was a New Year's party. That was a great party.
Yeah.
You know, it's how we work hard, we play hard. You know, something I learned in the military, you know. And, you know, if you want to be a billionaire, create opportunity. You want to be a millionaire, take advantage of opportunity.
Yeah.
But either way, you got to do fucking something. You got to do something. Get off your ass. Stop sleeping 8 to 10 hours a fucking day. Stop waiting for the government to hand you something. Stop. You know, we live in a world where if you want it, you have to sell it. You have to sell the fucking value to people, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something else to change. And if you don't prioritize your dreams, then the consequences, you get to prioritize somebody else's. And if you want to prioritize someone else's, that's beautiful. Come prioritize mine. I could use you. That's how I feel.
Nice. Yeah, that is true, man. I mean, so you're basically telling me what everything you're saying is that I got to fend for myself, right?
Yeah, I'm basically saying eat what the fuck you kill. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. A lot of people... You know, like I have employees that I pay salary to, no problem, right?
Yeah.
And I make sure to price them out of the market. So if they're A quality employees, I don't have any B quality employees. If you're B, you're an F. If you're a C, you're an F. If you're a D, you're an F. I don't give a shit. So it's either A or F for me, right? And if you're an A employee, I price you out of the market point, right? Now, if you're an A employee acting like an F, you know, after a certain period of time, I'm gonna give you a warning. Then I'm going to give you some support and see what I can do to help you. And then I'm going to replace you.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, you know, that's how it works. I mean, because I have too many people who are depending on me. I have legacy. I have my kids. I got my grandkids that aren't even here yet. My great-great-grandkids that aren't even here yet, right? For me, it's generational, right? If you invested $1 million in the S&P 500 index fund and left it there for 100 years and did nothing else, how much do you think it would be there?
Oof, generational, right?
Yeah, in 100 years, how much do you think would be there? Take a guess. 100, just $1 million. $1
million.
$1 million.
In 100 years.
In 100 years, how much money do you think will be there in 100 years? If the market does what it's done the last 100 years.
What is it? Is it 15% or something like that? That's the return?
On average, it'll do 7% in profit, 7% a year.
Let's go at $1 billion. $1 billion.
$8.4 billion.
Holy shit. That's $7 more billion than I thought. All right.
Yeah. That's if you left $1 million there. If Warren Buffett, when he made his first $1 million fucking dollars, right? Like 55 years ago, right? He put his first $1 million and he just put it in the S&P 500 index fund and did nothing, he would still be worth $5 billion today.
So you're telling me if I make $1 million right now and I put it, what is it, into a CD?
No, it's called the S&P 500 Index Fund.
And I say, in 100 years, that goes to my grandkids. They're set.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So the reason why everything that I focus on is 100 years out is because what I'm doing now will be more than enough to handle the next 100 years, right? And so let me give you an example. Let's say I just leave $1 million in the S&P 500 Index Fund. And I just leave that there for nothing, right? Just for the next 100 years. Put that in a family trust, right? I know that I'm going to have enough money to supply my kids, my grandkids, and my great-grandkids. But by the time my great-grandkids are grandparents, no matter what my kids or grandkids did with my legacy, they're still solidified.
That's beautiful.
And $8.4 billion at regular inflation is worth $3 billion today in dollar value today.
Real quick, bro. I have to ask you, what's your definition of inflation? Because everybody's talking about it, and like I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. We're creeping towards inflation almost recession. But what the hell is inflation? Like, just break it down for me, please.
Oh, okay. There's two types of economies. There's economies when stupid people buy shit, and there's economies when smart people buy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So stupid people, they're told to do what the status quo is, where they buy shit when it's at the top of the prices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's smart people who save all their money and buy shit when the market's slow, right? So I always tell people, just buy when Warren Buffett buys.
Okay.
That's the best thing you can do.
You
right?
don't think Warren Buffett's a little old school though?
Yeah, Warren Buffett also has the most, infamous rules. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, if you ever forget, we'll resort back to rule number 1.
Oh man, I already lost money.
Yeah, of course. Everyone loses fucking money all the time because they're gambling, right?
Oh man.
But I care more about my freedom, and I care more about having everyone else be free as well, right? So, if you got a girl, she's costing you a bunch of money, and you can't afford her, let her go.
All right, let me look into that. I think I got a.
You especially.
Yeah, I know.
Your girl's expensive, bro. She's expensive.
She's worth
Mundo's
it.
girl, she's cheap. That's why Mundo can have like 4 of his girls. They're cheap.
Mundo's girl's like, hey baby, I want a sandwich.
Mundo's like, you put that sandwich on layaway, baby. Subway layaway. Subway layaway, right?
So what are the signs for inflation? Like, how do we know that we're getting into this? I want to get a better understanding.
Price of gas, price of all the products around you, everything else, right?
Yeah.
Real estate's a big indicator, right? When it's ballooning, right? How many buyers there are versus sellers, right?
Yeah.
Right now, it's been an infinite sellers market for the last 4 years in the United States.
Okay.
Right. So, all of these other people that want to sell properties, they're looking for more properties to buy. That's why Puerto Rico is so beautiful right now for real estate outside of San Juan areas,
Yeah.
right? Because Puerto Rico hasn't felt that 5-year wave.
You know what's crazy? They're saying that the real estate market in the U.S., well, Bank of America is saying it, that it's at its peak or is nearing its peak for the housing market.
Oh no, it's there.
Is there?
Absolutely, it's there.
Holy
Absolutely.
crap.
I mean, but you have to understand that there's funds that are at play here, bro. There's funds that are buying properties 100, 200,000 above market value right now, right?
Yeah.
And it's because they understand that the next generation of people beyond Gen X, I'm talking about millennials, zennials, whatever else that's the zennial, they're not interested in home owning. They want to rent. So a lot of these funds are seeing that, and they want to, capitalize on that in rentals, right? If you really wanted to make a lot of money and get involved in something, I would get into elderly housing.
Wow.
Elderly housing is going to be a monster of an industry for the next 30 years and then die off.
I would have never thought about that.
Yeah, there's over 10,000 people every single day in the United States turning 65.
Yeah.
And they're right there at that cusp of retirement. And within that next 5 or 10 years, they're going to need some extra assistance and help. And the kids are too busy learning what they learn from the parents where they don't have extra expendable money, right? And they don't have extra expendable time to help the parents the way they want to.
Yeah.
Like my dad will never need to be in a home
That's beautiful.
because he'll come live with me. And my mom will be able to take care of him the best they can. If they need to, I'll have an in-house nurse. They'll come there because I can set that up because I didn't follow after my dad's footsteps. Right, I wasn't gonna bleed myself to death and work 3 jobs or work for Teamsters for 30 years or work as a lineman and electrician for another 20 years, or whatever. I just didn't want to follow that road. I saw the road where I read Rich Dad Poor Dad at 19, and from that point forward, I was like, I'm gonna keep shooting. I have unlimited swings at this bat, and I'm gonna keep fucking swinging until I get there.
I was just thinking about applying to be a miner. I want to work the mines.
Say, shut the fuck.
Bro, I want a real job.
You want a real job? Come work for me.
Okay.
I'll give you a real job.
I'm
$8
applying
an
this
hour
week.
starting. Working for Mundo.
So I'll be Mundo's assistant.
You'll be Mundo's bitch.
Is that cool?
Right.
Mundo, you want coffee? Please.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because
2 sugars and 2 creamers, bitch.
we're talking about all this stuff, and it's just like, it's complicated. We got the housing in the U.S. We have the job market, relationships, right? What's your take on crypto right now?
Oh, crypto is in a buying frenzy right now.
Oh, you think it's time?
I think it's a good time to buy You know, I bought DOT at $28 because I saw it go down from like 56 to 28. I thought that was great. Today it was like $8.
Oh my God,
was like-
that's hurting my chest.
I was like, Jesus, right? But don't buy crypto unless you can buy and hold this shit long term, right? If you don't believe in the fucking technology that's behind the crypto, don't buy it, right? Now, there's people I know that lost millions of dollars on Luna, right? They lost millions of dollars on XRP, millions of dollars they lost on freaking on Shiba, right? I made a killing on Shiba, by the way.
How was that?
Huh?
How was the Shiba ride?
Bro, you saw the Shiba ride. You were like texting me. How many times did you text me to sell?
Bro, remember I woke up and I was like, Rob, it's time to sell. And you were like, no, wait up.
Yeah. I remember when I bought 22.8 billion Shiba for like $200,000. And it was at like 690 bips, which is like nothing.
Bro, we were going crazy on Shiba. I'll never forget that.
You were like, it was like you were, it's kind of like you invested the money with me and you were kind of going the roller coaster with me. It was funny.
We had a lot of good times.
But it was scary to sell it. When it went to like 8,800, I tried to sell it and I couldn't actually sell it until I went down to like 6,800 because I had so much of it.
Yeah.
It was so hard to sell.
But you've always been a risk taker with that kind of stuff too, man.
Yeah, you know, for me, it's like nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Like when I first moved here, I made $44,000 playing craps at La Concha.
Oh my God, bro! I still remember you literally went to La Concha. Nobody knew your name, and then you walked out with 40,000. Was it 40,000 in cash?
Yeah, $44,000 in profit in cash. I started with $5,000.
Bro, I remember that. And then after that, every single time we went, it was, well, hello there, Mr. Clark.
I know.
How are you, Mr. Clark?
Yo, it's like they memorized my ID or something like that. I never introduced myself as Rob Clark, ever. Yeah, I mean, so I was like, yeah, remember that time I tried to teach you craps?
And then I crapped.
Yeah, you had no idea. I'm like, bro, see, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do this, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Bro, I still remember
Why
that.
did he pay you? Why did he pay you again? Why did you get that much money again? I'm like, bro, pay attention.
Yeah, literally, I remember being in your house, and it was $44,000 cash, and then you had those gold coins. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, I had a whole roll of 21-ounce gold coins as well.
Yeah,
I love gold, bro. I love gold.
Banned.
I love cash. You know what I mean? I don't really. I was mad that La Concha wouldn't wire me the money.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I'm in Puerto Rico. I just moved to Puerto Rico, and you're literally gonna give me all this cash, and I gotta walk outside. And I'm like, bro, I don't know where I am. This looks like the suburban part of Puerto Rico, but I'm not sure. You know what I mean?
And you're like, all right, how am I gonna spend this?
Bro, it took me forever. I remember I had to fly back to the U.S.
Yeah.
I flew back to Vegas to see my dad, and that's when I actually deposited it into my accounts.
Oh my God.
Because I just felt extremely uncomfortable with that amount of cash on me. I can't be like Floyd, bro, with like, 5 dudes over 7 feet tall and 500 pounds walking around me. You know what I mean? I didn't have that.
And rumor is they banned you. Did they ban you? No, is that true?
They didn't ban me permanently, but they just told me that they would like me to stay away from the premises for a few months. It wasn't like a black list. It was a gray list.
It was like, all right, this is a cool down period where it's the pandemic and this guy just walked out with 44,000.
Because I was, okay, but I have to say, okay, I was also talking shit, right? Well, I was rolling the dice. I went super heavy when I was rolling the dice. I played really hard on 6 and 8, okay? And I was rolling 6 and 8 like crazy. I rolled for 90 fucking minutes without crapping out.
Damn.
And I just kept pressing and pressing and pressing on 6 and 8 over and over and over again. And then I also like started playing stupid on 4 and 10, which they pay you 2 to 1.
Okay.
On 4 and 10. So I played no field at all, and I only played the back options when it was 6 or 8. That's it.
So you're a shit talker. What were you saying?
Well, I was just telling people, I was like, yo, press that shit. I'm gonna keep hitting it. Press it. And so I got everyone to keep pressing their bets. And so the bets kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
No.
And then when I felt like I was gonna crap out, when I felt like it was too risky, I'm gonna cap out. I took all but like $100 off all my numbers, and everyone saw me do it, so they all did the same thing. And then
God.
2 rows later, I crapped out.
Okay.
So I literally crapped out. Like literally, if I would have crapped out, I would have only made half the money that I had on the table. But because I took all the money that I had off the table, then rolled 2 more times, and then crapped out, I literally looked like a psychic. Or I knew it was going to happen before it happened.
Oh my god. I'll never. I still remember like first time I see you playing, 44,000 cash. Boom, you get out, and then I'm like, all right, Rob, what's the secret? And I see you playing. And I think I remember one time you were just bored. You're like, all right, let me go in for like 30 minutes. And you go in 30 minutes, you take out 1,000. You're just putting hundreds on the table and shit, and not giving a fuck. And you're losing. And then you made all this money, and you're like, well, I'm back up. And then I'm just like, no, this game's not for me.
Dude, you were like so like as soon as I like did like 5 minutes of craps or whatever, and you saw the 2 guys in front of me, they crapped out, so I lost all my money. But then the next guy, he rolled like 4 times in a row, and I broke even. I took all my money off the table, and I just minimized it until I started rolling. But then by that time, you had already like had a panic attack on the roller coaster.
Bro, this is what you're doing when you're bored. That's not what I do when I'm bored.
It was fun though. We had a good time, right?
Yeah, that was fun.
You know, going to a party and everything else at like Concha, right?
Yeah.
Which you have that now.
Yeah.
You know, but everything was pretty good right now. What do you guys think? Oh, we're good? All right. Until the next fucking time, we have another podcast. Hope this gave you value. If not, go fuck yourself. If it did, subscribe. Peace.
Check us out.